Hey, what's up guys, it's Mike Tech back again with another video, and today I will be showing you how to make your very own camera lights or studio lights like these, which are 3D printed by the way. Why? Because it's way cheaper to make your own, and on top of that it makes for a good video. So let me show you what kind of lights we're going to be using, which are these ones here. So these ones here are LED headlights, which is different from what you may be thinking in your head. You might have thought that maybe I would be using some light strips, or maybe like those incandescent light bulbs that you might be seeing other people use inside their lights. But no, I think these are cheaper. They work just as good. The light color temperature is about the same as the professional lights, which is around 5500 Kelvin, which is white. Hopefully I said that right. If I didn't, I'll put a correction on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it's 5500 Kelvin for white color lights, which these are. So, and on top of that, did I mention they're way cheaper? They run off at 12 volts. You can get them on Amazon. They come with these little color filters here, so you can change up the color of the light, so you can have a more orangey or a more cool color light here. So that's kind of cool, and then you will put the filter on these little glass things here, which the filter will go around like so. So I'm not here to talk about the filters and nothing like that. Let's get straight to the lights, and let's get straight to making these things, so that way you can have some lights inside your videos or your photography or whatever it is that you do that needs lights. And if you're wondering how these lights look, well, just look at the video, because I'm using it right now. I got one over here and another one over here. So to me, I think it's kind of bright. I think it's good enough. Let me show you about these lights. So these lights are 360. There's LEDs all the way around. You can find cheaper lights. I think I paid like $20 for these here, I think, maybe 30. But you can find cheaper ones for like $9. And they only have lights on either side, which aren't as good. The 360 ones are better because it gives you a more even dispersion of the lights. But regardless of that, it's air cooled, so it does get kind of warm. So you might want to think about that. All your stuff is in here. One's off of 12 volts. There's a little plug. So that's basically everything you need to know about these lights. Now let me go ahead and just show you guys the casing that everything goes inside of. So let me move this stuff out of the way. And let's move on to the casing. Now like I said before, this is 3D printed. So this is actually some of the 3D printed parts. I'm going to move this out of the way. This is the reflector. I'll show you that stuff later. But this here is the casing. Here, all of this stuff is 3D printed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to put all this stuff together. And I think first we're going to start with this, because this is the easiest thing to get started with and the easiest thing to put together. So if you look at it, it looks like it has aluminum foil inside of it. The reason why is because it does. This is this aluminum foil. You can glue it in there with hot glue, or you can use epoxy, or you can use this stuff, which is Gorilla spray adhesive, heavy duty. So basically you just take it, shake it up, take the top off, you spray it on the inside, and then you put the aluminum foil in there, and you just punch a hole in the middle. So after you do that, obviously you would need a way to anchor or to attach the lights to the actual reflector. So let me get one of these lights real quick. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So these are the lights. So I'm going to show you what I mean by how to attach these lights to this reflector, because the lights are not just going to stay in there by themselves. If you look at that, it's kind of loose, moves around. It's not good. So you want these lights to stay in there. So what I have here is another part. Now all of this is 3D printed. The files are available on Thingiverse, and you can also get them on my website as well, free. Obviously, I'm not going to charge you for these, but basically in the files you also have this here. This is 2 pieces. Technically it's more like 3 because you have this piece too, but whatever. You get these pieces here, you print it out. Let me get close to the camera, so hopefully the camera can actually see that, and hopefully your focus is on there. But this piece here, if you look over here, it looks like it has glue around it. That's because this is two separate pieces. You flip it around, you can see there's a little hole right there. This piece here slides inside that hole, and it stops it from coming out. So this is what's actually going to anchor the lights inside. and then this is just what the lights sit inside of, so it stops it from moving around. So we're gonna go ahead and attach this to this. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I would do it. Okay, so what I would do if I was making this for myself, which I am, I would use 2-part epoxy, which is this stuff you get from Ace Hardware Store. Any epoxy, as long as it's made for plastic, it will work. Just what happens that this is. So I'm gonna go ahead and epoxy this and hot glue this. Here's my hot glue gun. I'm gonna go ahead and epoxy and hot glue it together, and then once I come back, I will show you the end result. So yeah, so let me go ahead and do that. Hey guys, we're back, and I went ahead and I glued all of this stuff right here together, so now it's one piece, like so. Now, one of the things I just want to mention before we move on to the next step is how I glued all this together. And a little tip for you guys at home, whenever you guys make this light, is make sure to take this and put this inside first, so that way you know for a fact this right here isn't crooked. If it's crooked, the light might be crooked inside the reflector housing, and that's not going to be good. So you want to make sure to put this inside, make sure everything's lined up, and then go ahead and either use your epoxy, which I did and it's kind of sticking to everything, or your hot glue gun, which is over here. So that's that for that. And this thing here, you want to make sure your hose that the screw goes in is nice and cleaned out, because you do have to put a screw through this to in order to make sure this light doesn't fall out. And the same thing goes for the actual bracket too. You want to make sure these screw holes are nice and cleaned out, so that when you put the screw through, it goes straight through and there's no problem. So yeah, that's it for this part. Now the next part of this, of making your own camera light or studio lights, is the housing and putting this inside the housing. So one thing I want to do before we do that is I want to point out inside the housing. Let me see if I can get this on camera. First of all, inside the housing, right here, right next to my thumb, you'll see a little silver thing. That silver thing is a rare earth magnet. It's a neodymium magnet. You can get it on Amazon. I bought like 100 for like a couple dollars, for like $6 or $9 or something like that. You don't need to buy that many. It's about 2 millimeters thick by I think like 10 millimeters in circumference. I'll put the actual advertisement or the little thing here on the screen so you can see what type of magnets that I bought. But basically, you take the magnets, you put a little bit of glue or hot glue or epoxy or whatever it is. You put that inside the hole and you glue the magnet in. I'm going to show you what that magnet is for. Let me go ahead and do it now. I was going to wait, but I'm going to do it now. This is your this is your frost filter, basically. So this is what's going to make the light nice and soft, so it gets rid of the shadows and stuff like that. So you can buy this on Amazon. I put a little picture of what it looks like, the ad or whatever. Basically it comes as a roll, and then you just cut it out and you glue it on. Inside of here as well, there's little silver things. Those silver things are magnets. The reason why there's magnets in here and in here is so that way you can just go like that, and you see it's on there. It's not going to come off, which is cool. The cool thing about this is that you can actually, you don't have to use these filters. You can replace this with color filters. So you can have red, you can have blue, green, purple, cyan, pink, yellow, whatever color, it doesn't matter. You can have all your different colors here, so that way you can have different color lights or different color filters for your lights, which is something that you cannot get with a lot of other DIY camera, not DIY camera, but DIY lights. So that's kind of a cool feature with this one right here. So that's the reason why there's magnets here and there's magnets inside. So make sure to put the magnets in if you are going to be using the frost filter. Make sure to put them in before you put the reflector in, because if you do it after, it's going to be harder. So let's go ahead and let me talk about how to put the reflector in here. So first things first, after you put your magnets in, you want to go ahead and take this, put this down on a flat level surface. Make sure to put some glue around the edge of here, lay it down, and then take this, put some glue on the inside of this here too, around the edge, not the face, but just like the little edge in here. Put some glue around that, and then just take them and go like this, push down, and then it will just glue itself together, and then you'll be good. That's how easy that is. It's like it's a pressure fit, so you really don't need to do too much. Just put some glue around it and just push down on it, and then it will just fit in there, and then that's it. Just wait for it to dry, and then we can move on to the next step. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then after I come back, next step after I come back. So yeah, let me go ahead and hey, what's up guys, we're back, and I just finished putting the reflector inside the housing here. You can see here that I actually put a little bit of hot glue in there, so you can see there's some right there, some right there, over there, over there. But one piece of advice I want to give you guys real quick is you can see there's like a paper napkin here, and it's kind of stuck. It's kind of stuck on there. The reason why is because when you push this together with the glue, some of the glue might come out on the other side, and it might mess up your workbench. So you might want to put something down, like a napkin, on this, just to make sure the glue doesn't go all over your table, which would be pretty nice. So that way you won't have to clean it up. So now that you know about that, we're gonna move on to the next step, which is this here, and this. So what this is, after you get done making your lights and you turn them on, obviously you're gonna want to use it. You got to put it somewhere. And the way you're going to put it, or the way you're going to mount it there, is with this. So this is a little swivel mount here. So this is a little ball joint for a camera, a little thing there. You can get this on Amazon. I got a pack of 2 here for like a couple dollars. I think it was like $8 or something like that. And it goes with these nuts. So this is like a 1/4. That's the size of the thread, and it's a coarse thread, and it is square. So it just screws on there, like so. You see that it screws right on there. But before you screw this on there, you're gonna have to take this square nut and put this square nut inside here. Now this is gonna be the mount that's gonna hold the nut, and this mount is gonna be glued onto this side here with the two holes. So you got 2 different mounting options for this mount here, for this adapter. You can either glue it or you can screw it. 2 different ways. So you can either glue this on here like that, or you can screw it on there. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. I'm gonna glue it because I have glue and it's cheap and I already have it laying around, so I'm gonna use that. But for you, it doesn't matter. Just pick a way and just put it on there. So yeah, first things first. Let's go ahead and let's put this nut inside the adapter. Make sure to put it face down in here. If you want to, you can put some glue on that too. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. Then when I come back, I will show you guys how to move on to the next step, which is going to be the cover and doing some of the wiring and stuff like that. So I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm done putting the mount onto the camera light here. I put a lot of hot glue on here, obviously, because this is going to be the thing that carries all the weight of this whole thing here. It doesn't weigh that much, but still I just want to make sure it doesn't like fall off or anything like that. So now that we're done with this, I'm just going to take this, set it to the side, wait for the glue to dry, and then as the glue is drying, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which I have right over here. So let me get that real quick. Now this is where we're going to be doing a little bit of wiring, because we do have to put a switch in this, and I also want to put a plug in this as well. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You don't have to use a switch, and you don't have to use a plug. You can use whatever you want. Like I said, these lights here, they do work off of like 12 volts. So you can use whatever you want. You can use a battery, you can use a power supply to power this, you can use a little power adapter or like a one for your laptop or something. Whatever you want to use. But basically this is the next step. And matter of fact, let's keep this on the table because I need to show you guys something. I need to show you what this is actually for. So when you look at this, when you download the 3D files, the STL files, and you print everything out, you will also be getting something like this. Now what this is the insert for here. So it goes inside like that, and then you also have this piece here which also covers everything else up. So this right here is like the cover, and then this here is like the little part that goes on the inside. There's a reason why you need this. Let me flip it over because actually it goes like this. But there's a reason why you need that, and the reason why is because of this. Now these lights, they're LED lights. LED lights that last for a pretty decent amount of time. You can get like a couple years out of these lights before they actually blow, which is good. You know, it's gonna cut down on the amount of money you have to pay if you get like the professional lights and you have to use the little light bulb that goes inside of them. These here last a lot longer than that. So, you know, that's a plus. That's always a good thing, right? Downside though is that even though they last longer, they're not going to last forever. So whenever these lights do burn up and they don't work anymore, you have to be able to take this out of the actual housing. So the only way to take it out without taking the whole thing apart would be to have it be like a door. So let me show you how this would normally be. So normally you have these two pieces here will be glued together. So you will have it be glued together like this. You will see there's two separate pieces. You will glue it together like so. Alright? Now when you glue it together, you want to make sure you have the door in place. The reason why, because the door is going to hold everything, is going to make sure everything's lined up. So that's the reason why you want to have the door in place when you glue it together. The reason why this is here is just to stop the door from actually falling straight through. So if this wasn't here, when you put the door in, it would just go straight through because there's nothing there to really to stop it. So that's why you have this. And on the other side of this, we have more holes. You have a hole here, another one here, and then 3 more on this side. Like I said before, inside of here you have these little holes as well. The camera can't really see it. You have those little holes as well over there, and those holes there are for magnets. The same thing with this. So the same magnets they use for this, these ones, these little rare earth neodymium magnets that you can get on Amazon. The same magnets they use for that, for in here, same magnets you use for here. So you put your magnets in here. You can put up to, I think it's, what is this? It's 3 here. It's 4, it's 5. You can put up to 5 magnets in here. Really doesn't matter how many you put, but you can just put them in there. And I already put magnets in here. Hopefully the camera can see that. So really magnets in there. And when you put the 2 magnets together, it's gonna lock and it's gonna stay like that. And it's not gonna come out. So that's the reason why you have magnets there. And then this plastic piece here, like I said before, this light has a fan on the back. It does get kind of warm. So one of the things you want to think about is how to vent the air, the hot air, out of the case. So you don't want the lights to overheat, because if lights overheat, they're going to burn out faster, which is bad. So this is the reason why you have this here. This goes on top of this hole here. It goes like that, and it has little grooves for the air to escape, for the hot air to come out, or the cool air to go inside, either one. And then there's vent holes here on the side of the case as well. So that's another thing there too. So we're gonna go ahead and move this out of the way, and I'm gonna show you what the finished one looks like. So this one here is one that I already glued together. So you can see the magnets are there here as well. Everything's nice and lined up. Like I said, when you glue this together, you might want to have the door in place, because the door is gonna make sure this top piece is lined up with the door. So that way, you know, everything is in place. So you want to make sure you have that in place, glue everything together, and then you're good. And this is how it's going to be. That's the finished part. And this is how the door works. This comes right out. Okay. Comes right out like that, and then it goes in like that. And now it's in there, and now it's not coming out. So yeah. So there you go. So that's the door. That's the finished part. This is how it's going to be when you take it out the printer. It's going to be 2 separate pieces. Glue it together, and then you get this. And then don't forget to put the magnets in and the door. So there you go. But next part, after you glue all this together, you want to go ahead and you want to glue on the top part, and you want to put your switches in along with your 2 plugs. Now the reason why there's 2 plugs here is so that way you can daisy chain them. So that way you can have one light connected to another light, connected to another light, connected to another light. So that's the reason why you have 2 outputs here, and you also have 2 switches here, 1 switch for each output. So one output is going to be your main coming in, which is going to power this light over here, and then you have another switch for the output here, which is going to turn this one here on and off, which is going to power the next light. So that's the reason why you have your switches. You don't have to put 2 switches. You can just put 1 if you want to. It's up to you. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, we're going to glue this in and hook up the switches. So let me go ahead and sit to the side real quick. I don't think I'm going to use epoxy for this one. I think I just might just hot glue this in place just because. So this is going to be pretty simple. You just take a little bit of hot glue, put it all the way around, like so, and then just drop it on here. Just make sure it lines up right, and that's it. I think it's kind of crooked, but like, who cares? It's just a light. Nobody really is gonna notice it. So now that part right there is done. There you go. That's your little vent right there. And the idea is for this to actually sit in here. So hopefully the camera can see that. It sits in there, and then it will suck the cool air in and then blow it out through the vents there on the side of the case. So that's the whole idea with this. Now let's get to the more complicated part, which is going to be hooking up the switches and the in and out for the power. So that's my plugs, and these are my switches here. So both of these things, all of this stuff, by the way, you can get all of this stuff on Amazon. I will have links to everything down below. So like I was saying, you got your plugs, switches, and all of it's pretty cheap as well. I got like a bag of like 15 of these things. I think it's 15 of on and off switches. There's just toggle switches on, off. They have 2 pins on the other side there. Alright, so I'll put a link to the exact switches down below in the description, so that way when you buy the switch, they fit inside the hole here. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You might want, I might put the size of this hole in a readme file, so that way you know the size of everything before you actually start ordering stuff. So there you go. Basically, the switches, they have like a little thing here on the side here. It's like a little clip almost, and it just clips right inside this little thing. So you just put it in like that, and it just clips in. Hopefully you can see that. It just clips in like that. So that's pretty easy. So you're done with that part, and then the next part here is just, you have your plug. Wait, that's not a plug. This is a plug. Or the connector, I don't know what you call this part, but this is a plug here. That's your plug there. It's 2 pieces. Comes off, your wire goes in there, you solder it together, screw it back on, and there you go. Now I made mine already. I'm going to show you it. I have it down here, it's on the floor. But basically that's mine. There, I put some cable in there, and I just soldered it all together, and that's my plug. So I'm not going to show you that part because I already did it, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So there you go, there's the 2 ends. I made mine with like double, 1 on each side. So like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to show you that part. But this here is the other side of that plug. So this here would be the part that the plug actually goes inside of. And the same thing here you got. Well, here you have 3 connectors, but you only need to use 2 of them. So I'm going to show you what the 2 is. Let me just get my continuity tester. Matter of fact, you could just figure it out on your own, to be honest with you. So it really isn't that hard. I'm just going to use either one of these holes. It just screws in place, so it's pretty easy. And then if it doesn't fit, you can just take like a little knife like this and just go inside the hole and just make the hole just a little bit bigger, and it should just fit right in there. But the connector that you can use, you can just figure that out yourself. Just use a continuity meter. I was going to show you that, but I think that's going to take too long for me to do all of that. So just screw it down in there. And then after it's screwed in place, it should just come out on the other side like this. And you can, it has nuts inside, but the nuts won't fit because it's just not going to fit on here. So you can just use glue or epoxy, just epoxy it down. Make sure not to get any glue or epoxy inside the actual hole here, because there's a little hole in the side. But then after you do that, just solder everything in place. And that's basically it, and then just glue everything together. So it's the most simplest part. Before we do that, let me show you the other side of this, because obviously after you solder the switch together, you still gotta have a way to connect the light. This is the automotive plug. This isn't a regular plug, so you still gotta have a way to connect this light to all of the stuff that you just soldered together, and that's where this comes in. So this here is like a little connector here. It's like a little automotive connector. You can get this on Amazon as well, just like everything else. It comes with the wire already attached. You just pull some of the insulation off, and you just solder the wire up to the switch here, and then that's it. And then it just plugs up in here like so. It is marked here with positive and negative. I don't know if the camera can see that. Hopefully it can. But it is marked there with positive and negative. So you know which one's positive, you know which one's negative. It's also color coded on the other side, so you probably won't even have to even like look at this. But it's waterproof, it's simple, it already has the wires, you don't have to really crimp anything. You have to just solder the wires to the switch and then solder another wire to the plug, and then you'll be done. And that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then after that I'm gonna come right back and I'm gonna show you how to finish up the rest of the stuff, and then we're gonna go ahead and take a look at how bright these lights really are, and then after that I'm gonna compare them to the lights that I'm using. I do have one set of professional lights, and I am gonna compare it to those professional lights, so that'll be after I come back. So let me go ahead and do this first. I'll be right back, just to speed things up. Alright guys, I am back. I just got done clearing all the stuff off of my table, and now I'm going to be showing you the last couple parts of building this DIY camera light here, or studio light. We're going to be finishing it up by putting all of the stuff inside the housing and sealing up the housing, and comparing these ones to the ones that I have up here, which are the professional lights. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So this is going to be pretty simple. This is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest with you. The only thing you really have to do is screw this in. So this is the piece that I was telling you about, the little light holder here with the little screw. So this is gonna go right over here like so. So this is just gonna slide right in there. Hopefully the camera can see that, and hopefully you can see that. So this is just gonna get screwed in. You want to have a little screwdriver handy. Let's go ahead and screw that in there. Like I said, pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. Nothing hard about that. Maybe screwing it in might be kind of hard, but then again though, it's kind of positive part to that, because you know, if it's hard to screw in, then you know it's gonna be, then you know it's not definitely gonna not come out. So that's always a good thing. You want to make sure this right here is out of the way. Move that like that. Wrap the wires around. Make sure the wires are out of the way of the fan. And this lid, it only goes on one way. So you want to make sure you got this lid lined up the right way, or else it's not going to line up right. You can see here there's like a little bit of a gap here. So you want to make sure it goes on like this. And that's how it looks. That's a finished light. Look at that. That's not bad. Let's try to take this here off, which is kind of stuck on there. I should have took it off there earlier, but look at that. That is a finished light. Got some tissue paper left on there, but it doesn't matter because it looks pretty fucking good. Look at that. And it has a little movable mount right here on the other side. You can loosen this here up and move this here around and stuff like that. So yeah, look at that. You got the little light right here in the middle. Obviously you got your filter. Where is the filter? Where did I put? Oh, here you go. This is the filter here. You can finally pull this off. Finally, I've been wanting to do that for the longest time. And we can go ahead and attach this to that. And look at that. We got our nice little dispersion filter right there. It's going to give us a really nice soft light. And the only thing left to do besides putting the cover on there is just gluing it down and making sure that it doesn't come off again. But this is the reason why you want to have a door, because when you take this off, now you have access to the light. Now you can just turn this, the screws right there, alright, so turn it, screws right there, and then just get yourself a screwdriver, unscrew that, and just pull the whole thing out, and then just put the whole thing back in after you're done. So it's very easy to take out the lights and replace it whenever you need to. So that's always a plus there. So like I said, the only thing really left to do is just glue this down. Or we have screws here, right here too. So like I said, with the mount here, you got your two options here. You can either screw it or you can glue it. I'm gonna glue it because I have it. So that's what I've been using for this whole entire project. So I'm just gonna keep using it. I'm just gonna put some glue here and glue everything down. I only put in one plug, as you can see. I left the other one empty. Same thing goes over here. I left this here empty. I only put in one switch because I only need one switch. I don't really want to daisy chain them together. The reason why is because I have this really big power supply here. This is a 300 watt power supply. It puts out 12 volts, 5 volts, and a whole bunch of other voltages as well. So I'm going to be using this to power these lights. Because these lights are about 2 amps to power, so you need a pretty decent size power supply if you want to power a whole bunch of them. And I'm gonna have like 4 hooked up, so I need something pretty big in order to handle all of that voltage, all that amperage. So that's the reason why I'm not gonna be daisy chaining these, because of it's gonna be too much amperage on just one little plug. So you want to be aware of that. These plugs here, they can only handle a certain amount of amps, and I'm not too sure of how much amps that is, but make sure to think about that when you're hooking these things here up. So it's another thing. But I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this stuff right here together, and then we're gonna come back one more time for the main part, which is going to be the review and the comparison to the other professional lights. So we're gonna really see how good these lights are. I think they're pretty good. I think they're pretty on par with what you see in the DIY light community when it comes down to stuff like this. But it's always a good thing to just take these and just compare it to the professional ones, so that way you know what you're really getting. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and come back and show you guys the results and all other stuff. So let me go ahead and glue these together real quick. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're finally done. I went ahead and I glued everything together with some hot glue. The only reason why I use hot glue is because I didn't want to wait for the epoxy to dry, so I just put some hot glue around there. You don't have to do it this way. You can do it nice and neat and clean and just use epoxy or crazy glue or something like that. But because I was in a rush to finish this video, I just went ahead and put hot glue all the way around. But we're finally done. It works. I got my cable here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, turn it on, and like I said, it's going to be pretty bright, so, you know, there you go. That's the light right there. Now, I do want to go ahead and compare these to my professional lights, which are right up here, but the thing about it, I have a really messy room, so I don't really want you guys to see my very messy room. So because of that, I'm just going to do it like this. I'm going to take this, put it on a tripod, and then I'm going to just switch between the two lights and see if you guys can notice a difference between the professional lights, which are over here, and then the lights that we made, which are going to be over here. So that would be the difference. I'm just going to sit there and just switch between the two. Maybe I could take the camera off and show you the lights before I switch to them. But we're going to try that out. So I'm going to go ahead and mount these up real quick. And I'm also going to be doing it without the filter, because the professional lights, they don't have filters on them either. So to keep it even, I'm not going to put a filter on either one. So these ones without a filter, and then the professional lights without a filter, and we're just going to switch between them. And hopefully that'll be enough. So yeah, so let me go ahead and just put these lights on this tripod real quick, on this little camera mount. Alright guys, so we have everything plugged up and is ready. So now all the lights are on. So now I got 3 lights on right now. So I got the 2 that I made. Where's my hands? I got one over here, that I made, and I got one over here that I made, and I got one in the middle up here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to go ahead and turn all the lights off except for the one that we just made. So this is the output from the one that we just made right here that you're seeing. Not that bright, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And now I'm going to turn on the lights, the professional lights. And that's, hopefully you guys can notice the difference between the two. So the professional lights are just a little bit more white, it looks like. And the other ones are also pretty good as well. They're not that bad, but they might have a little bit of a tinge to it. So that's the reason why you might want to use the filter, or you might want to use the color correcting things that comes out of the box. Let me show that to you real quick. These things here. So you might want to use these things here that come inside the box. Matter of fact, if I just wrap that around, will that make a difference? And it does. Look at that. It's a lot more bluer. It's not bad. It's a little bit more white. I like that. And you take it off and it has a little bit more of a yellowish tinge to it. So, like I said, there are lots of different lights online that you can buy. You don't have to use the lights that I use. It's up to you. But basically, this is what you're going to get when you make your own lights. You're not gonna get this professional brightness or color reproducing thing or anything like that. You're not gonna get that. You're just gonna get a pretty bright light that is good enough for you to make basic videos with. And if you have more than one of these things turned on, let me turn both of them on. So that's both of the lights. So that's the one over here on that we just made, and the other one is over here is on as well. And now it looks more usable. I can actually make a video with this here. And then if you want to, you can turn on the big ones, the professional ones, and you see a really big difference here. I'm going to go ahead and take this off the tripod so you guys can actually see the professional lights. I'm going to keep the camera pointed down because I don't want you to see my messy room. But here are the professional lights that I was talking about. Let me turn, and this is the one that I already made, and then this is the other one that we just made here, and you can see that it's on. And then these are the professional ones here. It has like 4 different bulbs inside of it, so it really isn't like a really good comparison. I almost fell, but it really isn't a really good comparison between these two, because compared to these 4 big lights here, is like, how can you compete? It's like, look at the light output that you're getting from this compared to this. But these ones here are still pretty good though. Don't get me wrong. For something that's 3D printed and is using car headlights, not bad at all. And the same thing goes for this one over here too. So they're both pretty good compared to this one up here. And one more time, let me turn them off. Turn this one right here off, and we turn this one right here off, and then I'm going to go ahead and switch. Where's the switch? Okay, so that's no lights at all. Okay, so these ones here off, all of these here off, and this one here is off. Let's turn these ones here on, and that's the light output. Camera really is not doing this justice, but it's not bad. It's pretty good. It's okay, it's pretty decent. And then you go ahead, turn this here off, and you turn these ones here on. So there's a switch per side. So this side's on, this side's off. Turn this side here on. And now, pretty big difference. But then again, like I said before, you are using 4 compared to just that 1. So it's like not really that great of a comparison. Maybe if I turn one of them off. Now it looks a little bit more similar. Let's do that one more time. So there's this, and then this one here. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit closer. It's a little bit closer. A little bit closer with just 2 of them on. If you had one of them on, it would be exactly the same as this. So one of these lights here produce the same amount of brightness, the same lux or the same lumens as one of these car headlights here. So It is kind of unfair because you're using two. But let's do this. Let's turn this one here off. And then let's turn these two here on. This one's on. And this one here's on. Where's the switch? Where are you, switch? Okay. Switch is on. And now let's come down. And I don't know, but I think that might be the same as using two of these ones. Using these two is equal to using these two. So that's your comparison right there. If you had 4 of these, it will equal to just these 4 here as well. And another thing too that I also want to point out is that this does not have the light box around it. The light box takes up a lot more room, and because it takes up more room, you're going to be saving a lot with these ones here because they're a lot smaller. So that's kind of the positive of this here. So one thing there that you might want to take into note is that these ones here are a lot smaller than these ones once you have the light box on. And for me, I don't have that big room, so I like having small things. So I'm definitely going to be using these ones here instead of this one here. So yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Hope you liked it. Hope you like and comment and subscribe to see more DIY reviews and other stuff that I have planned for the future. So yeah, peace out. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. All the links will be down below for you to download these STL files so you can make your own lights. And yeah, that's it. Peace out.